I am here with Larry Holder, the colorist, and John Lamont, the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an awesome day we are going to have. So, my daughter was in town for the last couple of weeks. That was cool. We were watching stuff.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun down at Anime Matsuri. Um, I got an email or Twitter. I got a Twitter DM from somebody because I was using the hashtag Anime Matsuri. Um, and they were like, you know what? Yeah, I see you made money, but you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, why?
You
And they're
shouldn't make
like,
money.
well, no, I shouldn't go to Anime Matsuri. And look, Anime Matsuri, I gotta say, you know, they like, they were having Tug and Yellow Flash and Nikki Rackets having a panel with Anna, that Star Wars girl. So yeah, Anime Matsuri needs to be a little more discriminating about the people they just give a fucking platform to. I mean,
Oh well,
oh well,
yeah,
but at the same time, money's money. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to be like, you're associating with people I hate, so fuck you. Um, but other people certainly were encouraging. So, by the way, hold on, let me see if let me get myself. So okay, so we have Viviax and Full Glory. Woot! So I'm be sending out that Kickstarter. I'm waiting on an artist before I launch the next one. Hopefully he will get back to
Huh.
me. But yeah, let's see. And I've been writing some D&D stuff. And pencils have begun on Palace of the Golden Princess. All right.
Hooray!
Good.
All right. We got Dragon Warriors.
We do.
We do. Okay. All right. I don't know where Dan is. Yeah. Today I wrote up a Silt Demon. I decided that my adventure is going to take place in like a marshy, riverine environment.
Hmm.
I don't know of a lot of adventures, and this is something that you learn in. I was a geology major. I have a degree in geology, is what I should say. I graduated college with a degree in geology, um, and so to me, it makes absolute sense that if you are just wandering around somewhere, um, well, here, let me ask you, Larry, if you're out in the middle of the
Okay.
desert, right, and you're like, gosh, I'm going to need some water for my community. Where do you think you're going to find water out in the middle of the desert?
Underground would be the most logical
Underground,
place.
yes,
Yeah. So.
underground,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, but like we got all these huge fantasy fucking kingdoms with all underground and shit, and we never see water, right? And I'm like, like, and particularly in a place like Louisiana, and I was really thinking about
Hmm.
like Louisiana, the water table is almost up to ground surface.
Yeah.
So my race of
New
underground,
Orleans is entirely below the water line,
right?
and it's
So
sinking.
yeah, so my race of underground dwarf dwelling people are also water breathers because their entire kingdom is full of water. So it's
That makes sense. Yeah.
but they're not in an ocean. The ocean is underground. They're an underground ocean. There we go. That's the way to think of it. An underground ocean. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun writing that, and I've been thinking like, how come no one in D&D has done like I've never seen any like underwater fantasy creatures that are just water breathing dwarves, because whenever they're going miles underground, there's no water for whatever reason, and I don't
Hmm.
understand that.
Well, they're
Like,
mining. Does if you mine, do you run into water a lot?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. So
So.
Okay, I mean I've never mined for gold or gems or anything like that, so I don't know what you find down there.
yeah.
well.
But typically, when you think of a gold mine, you don't think of water, do you?
Well. They use water for mining, but you know.
Well, I mean
Yeah.
when I watch an old western and they're talking about going into the gold mine, there's no
Yeah.
water in the gold mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
So
I know what
true.
you
Very
mean.
true.
I think that's where the idea of dwarves living underground is because they're mining, not
Yes.
and there's never water in a gold mine. So
Yeah.
that's probably why the idea never came up.
Hmm.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, the Dragon Warrior is in the Santa Monica Farmers Market. Hells to the yeah, dog. All right, so I feel homesick. Shit. Did you ever go to the Santa Monica Farmers Market?
Yeah, I used to work in Santa. I spent 10, almost 10 years
You know what
working
to
in
say?
Santa Monica.
Right,
Wow.
what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
and I've seen a lot of the old pictures of what Santa Monica looked like. You know, like the pier is almost
yeah.
100 years old.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they got that really cool carousel that I have shown a
Yeah,
number of people to.
that's
Yeah,
also like almost 100 years old. Like that was
I
there
think it's
back in.
more than 100 years old. I think
Yeah,
that's yeah. So it's not almost; it's more than 100 years old.
I wasn't exactly sure, but I know that it's old,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's why I'm like, yeah,
it goes
I
back
think
to the yeah.
visually, I think this will make some really cool visuals to
Awesome.
set something in the 30s
Right.
in Santa Monica and
Well,
Los Angeles. I think
do
it'll be
you
kind of
know
cool.
where the Larry or
Okay.
John? Oh, we'll start with Larry. Then we'll go to John. Either one. All right. Where was the first lighted runway in the United States?
Huh. Lighted runway.
There we go. Oh, by the way, yes, caves. Exactly, caves do fill with water. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Larry. Well, Larry doesn't know. John,
No.
where's the very
I
first
have
lighted
no
runway?
idea.
Venice Beach, California.
Huh.
First lighted
They had a
runway.
runway in Venice Beach?
Yes. You know where all those homeless people are camped out? Venice Boulevard has that big divided thing, and there's a huge. That was a runway at one point in time. There
Huh.
was an oil millionaire named Abbot Kinney around the turn of the century, around the 1900s, who was fascinated with Venice, Italy, and how they use canals to move around. And he thought, that's cool. I want to do that here in the United States. So he created Venice in America, which he made into an amusement park, and he also loved flying. So he installed a runway, and that was the very first lighted runway. And he had some aviator friends, and they'd come on and put on air shows. That was the first lit runway. And he had, there was a dispensary that I had visited on occasion because I thought they might like my screenplays or something. And they have these pictures from like 1910, 19 whatever, of like women in bathing suits standing on blocks of ice
There
holding
you
tow
go.
cables, and this
Yeah.
was like a form of racing. Like cars would, it seems amazingly unsafe, but cars would be towing these women standing on blocks of ice, and I'm like, holy shit! So Venice
Hey.
Beach was this rockin' place, and it was the very
Right
first
on,
lighted
yeah.
runway and stuff, and it was a great place to be up until the death of Abbot Kinney, who was the founder. And then after that, it fell into disrepute, and
became the shithole that it is today.
Yeah, well then in the 1930s, it was formally absorbed into the city of Los Angeles, and then it really started kind of decline because LA had other stuff going on, and essentially, Venice Beach was almost openly run by the mob during that time.
Wasn't everything.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. When you go back to these, Raymond Chandler, hard-boiled detective novels taking place in Los Angeles, and they're up against the mob, that was taken from life. Like the mob ran L.A. for a while.
I know it was incredibly difficult when writing this not to turn it into a mob story because I really didn't want to do a mob story.
Right. So,
so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but.
All right, Santa Monica Farmers Market Day. Who's reading?
You can narrate.
Who is
Larry?
Julia?
Larry, you do Julia. I think I've been having you do Julia.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll do the other people's, and then we'll shake it up as things go.
All right. Julia.
But it's mostly going to be Julia with other people, so I think it'll work out fine.
Okay. Julia, 16, wearing dirty, torn jean pants, an oversized, dirty white button-down shirt, bare feet, short boyish haircut stands with 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl, all wearing torn and dirty clothes. See, I gotta say, John, your writing style has changed and somewhat emulated mine, and it's because you now understand the importance of talking to artists. And here's what I want to see: you better draw this. If I don't see this, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah.
All right, Julia, go ahead.
Super important. Okay, stay here.
Julia walks into the street. The children all smiles and giggle at each other. At the end of the street, Jacob Lang, wearing an LAPD uniform, leans against the squad car, speaking to another uniformed officer.
Larry, why don't you do the other officer?
Sure. I'm telling you, Jake, this new center fielder in the Yankees got, he's going places. All right.
Jacob puffs on his cigarette.
That's what you said last season about their new shortstop, and they still lost.
Jacob looks down the street, sports Julia walking down the center of the street.
Hey, there she is.
Jacob gets off the car.
Take the car and go around to the other end of the street.
The officer gets in the car and drives off as Jacob walks into the crowd. As Julia walks towards the crowd, she eyes the sellers. As one gets distracted talking to a customer, she slips in, steals an apple, and disappears back into the crowd. Jacob moves slowly, closing in, trying not to attract too much attention, by the way, to TOL. As a vendor speaks to a customer, he bends over to shake something out of a crate tucked under the table. Julia sneaks up, grabs an end of a large broccoli, breaks off the stalk. The vendor bolts up, hearing it, sees Julia.
Hey, you!
Julia bolts into a run. You could just say Julia bolts. Jacob runs up to the stall.
Officer, get that boy!
Jacob chases after Julia, spots her darting down a side street. The other officer parks the vehicle at the end of the farmer's market, gets out, racing towards Jacob. As Jacob turns down the alleyway, he sees Julia kneeling down. She wraps the fruit and vegetables into the white button-down shirt. She folds it like a knapsack. Standing up, she sees Jacob at the end of the alley, staring at her.
Oh, that should be Jacob's line. Like,
Oh.
You're a girl?
Julia ties the sleeves of the shirt around her body like a makeshift backpack and takes off running. The officer runs up behind Jacob.
Get the car, cut her off.
Her?
I mean, well, I do have to say that these officers are assuming her gender awfully quickly. Exterior alley moving. Julia races down the alley as fast as her bare feet.
She's intentionally dressed up to look like a boy.
I know.
There
we go.
Her clothing, she was wearing jeans. She had a short haircut.
Okay.
She's masking her identity. But anyway, we continue.
Julia races down the alley as fast as her bare feet can take her. Jacob races after her. Julia leans onto a dumpster lid, then fires up a. Julia leaps onto a dumpster lid, then up a fire escape ladder locked in the up position and leaps over the railing. There we go. Right. Jacob body slams the dumpster, sending it rolling away from the ladder. All right, that's a bold move. Julia looks down at Jacob. Jacob picks up a rock and throws it. Julia braces for impact, anticipating the rock hitting her head. Instead, it hits the latch, releasing the ladder. It drops to the ground. Bang. Julia bolts up the metal steps. Jacob climbs the ladder. That is now Jacob's ladder. 6 stories up, Julia finds an open window and leaps inside the apartment. 2 kids playing on the living room carpet stare at Julia, who races across the room. Julia cuts through the kitchen as the mother cooks.
Oh, that smells delicious.
6th floor hallway. Julia explodes out of the apartment down the hall. Inside the apartment, Jacob climbs through the window. The mother shrieks.
LAPD, where'd she go?
The mother points to the door. Jacob bolts for the door, tapping his radio.
8-story apartment building, 4th and Ocean Park.
Outside, the officer pulls up in front of the building, races inside the stairwell. Julia reaches the 2nd floor, where the officer bursts through the ground floor. Wait, hold on. What's Dave got? I love when that happens. There we go. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm glad you love it. She cuts into the second floor hallway. A courier stands outside an apartment holding a clipboard as the resident signs for an envelope. As Julia turns the corner, she dives between them. Inside the apartment, the resident and the courier stare at Julia as she crashes through a window. Outside, Julia lands on the roof of the police car. She leaps off, charging across the street. Inside the apartment, Jacob races to the window, stopping, watching as Julia disappears behind a building. Exterior condemned house day. An abandoned house in desperate need of repair, surrounded by overgrown grass, and a cyclone fence. A no trespassing sign hangs on the fence as and a cyclone fence on which a no trespassing sign hangs. As Julia walks down the street, she looks back, making sure no one is following. She pulls apart two pieces of the fence, slipping between them. Dining room. Julia unwraps the shirt on the table, letting the fruit and vegetables roll out.
Dinner time.
The girl from earlier comes out holding a dolly and a worn and dirty dress.
Bobby, Mikey.
The boys sit in the living room arguing over a comic book.
Just like the internet. Oh.
Just like the internet.
Yeah. Get in here and eat before it's gone.
There we go. Chases go through apartment. Yeah, that's cool. I love that stuff too. That's some of my favorite stuff from the Matrix.
Yeah.
Chases through people's apartments are always fun.
Yes.
Julia grabs a knife, cutting up the fruit. The children come to the table.
Julia.
Come on, sit down.
Julia turns toward the kitchen, finding Jacob standing there. She raises the knife.
Hey, it's okay. No one's going to hurt you.
Jacob notices the children. They stare back at him with huge eyes. Julia keeps the knife raised.
No one's going to hurt them either.
If no one hurt them, they would not be with me.
Jake, what's your status?
Jake taps his radio.
Code 4, everything's fine. You need us to come in? Stand by.
See, if this was modern LAPD, Jacob would shoot everyone and,
That's right, yeah.
and say his life felt threatened.
I'm not telling that story.
Okay. Jacob releases his radio.
Well, why don't you put that knife down and we'll talk, okay?
Exterior, yeah, he's like, she had a knife. I felt threatened. Sorry. Exterior, Santa Monica all-girls high school day. A black sedan bearing consulate tags pulls up to the school. Gantz.
And this being 1930s, he would probably be questioned less than he would if it happened today.
Yes, absolutely. Gantz turns to Julia, sitting in the back seat. He hands her backpack.
Oh, we're now in the present day if you hadn't figured that out. Or
I feel
present.
like you should put that in the slug line.
Okay.
This is information like people would need to know. Who is Gantz?
Gantz is her handler.
Yes, but who's reading Gantz?
Oh, I'll do that.
Go ahead.
Good luck. Be safe.
Julia takes the bag. As she exits the vehicle, she sees Alice getting out of a Chrysler Imperial, march up to the school. Hallway, girls mill about, heading to class. Julia walks down the hallway past Alice as she chats with two friends.
Hey, new girl.
Julia stops, smiles. She lets her expression return to normal, turns to face Alice.
Ready for your day 2 hazing?
Pulls out a knife. I'll cut you. All right, so Alice's friend grabs Julia's arm, but she pulls herself free, spinning around and knocks their heads together. Spinning back around, Alice throws the slap. Julia leans backward, letting her hand swing by without making contact. Julia grabs her hand, twists her arms, pins her face first into the lockers.
Enough. You will stop this, or I will report you to Sister Martha.
I own this school. Miss who?
Julia turns as Sister Esther stands in the hallway staring at them. Julia backs up, releasing Alice. Alice massages her shoulders, smirking at Julia.
Sister Martha's office, now.
Interior, Sister Martha's office, day. Julia plops down in the chair across from the old woman.
Fighting is not tolerated at St. Monica's.
But hazing is. That's okay with you.
Don't talk back to me.
Pulls out a knife. I'll cut you, bitch! Julia stands up, leans over the desk, getting into Sister Martha's face.
Oh, the only reason that I haven't told my father about this is that he is in Washington visiting with with President Roosevelt. But you can bet this will be the first thing we discuss upon his return. And then I'm going to report you to the Los Angeles Times. And then you'll have to decide if Orion's money is worth the scandal I plan to bring to this school.
Sister Martha sits shocked, staring into Julia's piercing gaze.
You put a stop to it, or I will.
Julia turns, marching out of the office. Interior Orion Weapons Testing Facility. A large, muscular, special ops-looking man stands. Special ops-looking man. Okay.
Looks like
All
James Bond. Yeah. Looks like, I guess.
Stands by a crate as Orion and General Oliver approach.
Yes.
So this scene will have some new peoples in it. So why don't you do Orion?
Okay.
Larry.
Okay, sure, yeah. We've cooked up something extra special for you, General.
Orion nods to the man. He opens the crate, takes out a black crescent object about the size and shape of a boomerang, but with a flick of his wrist, it expands into a fully sized compound bow. Oliver arches an eyebrow, unimpressed.
You do realize our enemies have guns.
But guns are noisy.
The man grabs an arrow, fires it at a target 100 years away, or 100 yards away, yards away, hitting the target's bullseye, swack. Orion smiles, giddy.
We made with our patent-pending state-of-the-art carbon polymers, undetectable by metal detectors, 3 times the velocity for half the draw strength. Even a child could use it.
A child can just as easily use a rifle.
Let's say you want to clear a room without any loss of life.
The man takes out an arrow with a compressed gas canister on the tip. He fires at the target, hitting just above the previous arrow. A green gas releases from the tip, surrounding the target.
Halothane vapor delivered silently, but can ensure the soldiers' barracks remain sleeping soundly the entire night. There we go.
Now Oliver seems impressed.
Yes. Of course.
Lacrimator.
Lacrimator? Okay. Agents
That means that they make you cry.
Or sulfuric mustards can also be employed, and if you insist on making some noise...
The man fires another arrow, which explodes on impact with the target, breaking it to pieces.
Tell me, General, which of your infantrymen can throw a grenade 100 yards?
Orion's secretary steps forward.
Mr. Orion, telephone call for you, sir.
I gotta say, John, I'm liking the writing a little better. I feel like it's good. It's we got stuff going on. Interior, Sister Martha's office, day. Alice sits across from Sister Martha's desk, arm crossed, defiant.
Miss Hugh, Miss Lang, and half a dozen other girls have all come forward, stating that you have been habitually harassing them.
I'll cut you, bitch.
They're lying. I can't believe you believe them. I'm going to tell my father.
Alice Marie Orion.
That was supposed to be Larry's line.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm going to tell my father.
Sorry, where are we here?
Right here, Alice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Alice Marie Orion, sorry.
Martha turns the speakerphone on her desk around to face Alice.
Papa, you can't believe...
Silence. You know how busy I am, and how I very much doubt that Sister Martha would call me if there wasn't a shred of evidence. You better be on your best behavior from this day forward, or I swear to God I will have Temperance homeschool you until the day you graduate.
Don't threaten me with a good time. All right.
No.
Click. The line goes dead. Alice sits in shock.
You may return to class, Miss Orion.
Interior classroom day. Temperance writes on the blackboard as she speaks.
Implies that mass can neither be created nor destroyed, although it can be rearranged.
Alice enters the class, interrupting. A styrofoam ball hits her on the forehead. The girls giggle. Temperance smiles at Alice.
I trust your conversation with Sister Martha went well.
I'll cut you, bitch! All right.
Take your seat.
There we go. All right. Okay. So,
So this is the first half of issue 2.
okay. What's up, Danny?
Not too much. I'm just on the phone. Be right in. Sorry.
Okay.
Guys.
We're like
Sorry,
almost
guys.
done unless you brought pages.
Yeah.
Arg. All right. I'm gonna stop my phone call and at least see if I can help with some.
All right.
What else is going on?
It's all right, man.
All right. So, well, look, I feel like, oh, let's see, Mario Man, howdy. I see. Yeah. We do have a few. I've been writing. Oh,
He just posted one.
Oh, he
script.
did. Oh, well, look at that. This just in. Okay.
This
All right.
Sweet.
Hot off the press.
Breaking
Hot off the
scripts.
presses. Exactly. There we go.
I will have pages to bring in soon.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
All right. So here we have Julia, nobly stealing from a farmer's market in order to feed adorable children.
Yes.
So, hooray. We see Jacob, the law officer, trying to uphold the law, but at the same time do the right thing. And that was good. That was good. We see Alice being kind of bitchy, and Julia kind of had an altercation with Alice, but then all right. So Julia goes to school, then Alice is kind of like, rah, and then they have a bit of an altercation, and then we cut to the weapons demonstration. That was I thought the weapons demonstration was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we cut to, and we learn that Alice is the daughter of the Orion guy, weapons guy, and I think that's pretty much what happened. Right? Did I miss anything?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So its story seems plot-wise, okay. It's all linking together. We see Alice is bad girl from bad evil family, and Julia is noble, knife-wielding thief of fruit, and Jacob is noble police officer. So sounds good.
Yes.
What do you think, Larry?
Could say that she's a fruit ninja, but
yeah, she is a fruit ninja.
No, it's flowing a lot better, and I think you found your narrative, if you will. So, yeah, you've got a good through line, and you're starting to connect the seemingly separate scenes together, which is really good. So, yeah, it's all coming together. So,
I mean, I'm wondering, like, all right, because last issue they were working on like atomic shit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But now they're like, and a bow and arrow. So I'm like, this is feeling like
is it an atomic bow and arrow? Yeah,
yeah. This is feeling like the Acme Evil Agency. Like Wile E. Coyote should be out in the lobby being like, bow and arrow, you say? All right.
All right. So one of the things that I retconned is that General Oliver is going to be the primary officer from the briefing that was in the first issue.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, I didn't give him a name or anything like that. So I decided to give him a name so that there's kind of a connection between them. So basically, our evil corporation makes all kinds of weapons.
All right.
Some of them the government knows about. Some of them they do not. So the bow and arrow is a weapon that they know about. the super weapon they're building for the Nazis, the government does not know about.
Right.
Ah.
So it is like
Hey,
the
y'all.
Acme Weapons Agency.
Yes, that is perfectly fine.
You could get their catalog and be like, oh, I see we have nukes and the Hawkeye bow and arrow. I'll take it. I'll take the whole catalog. Let's do it.
Throw in a trebuchet.
Yeah. It felt like James Bond Q to me, and that's good. There we go. Okay. So,
There you go. Yeah.
And the bow and arrow is actually going to be used later, so I needed to establish it before I use it.
Of course.
So it doesn't just show up.
I feel like you need. See, I was thinking like this would be cool if like Julia ends up being like bow and arrow ninja, and then I'm thinking like with an A bomb in the pocket, like atomic.
Have you guys not drawn a connection between the character's name and the bow and arrow yet?
Julia?
No.
I don't know.
No, not Julia. What's the other character's name?
Alice?
Yeah, that's her last name.
I don't know. What's her last name? You're gonna have to help me out, John. What's her last name?
It was in the script.
I understand.
Alice Marie Orion.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I haven't made a connection yet.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Fletcher?
Green hero with the bow, named Orion. He's got a constellation named after him.
Oh, neat. Okay.
The one killed by Artemis, right? With arrows?
Something like that.
Okay. Now I get it. It's
Okay.
not great. But
I love it.
Hey, when I invented this character, people actually thought it was a clever pun.
I like it.
They're like, oh, it's a character's name Orion who uses a bow, and her super villain name is Orion.
I think the other three names just confuse it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to be a running joke, maybe.
She needs to be like Prince and just have one name.
And a
Or
symbol
Sting.
that you can't
Yeah.
read.
Exactly.
Well, she's not the character yet. This is origin stories.
God, origin stories are the worst.
They are. Except for Guinevere and the Divinity Factory, which is a pretty good one.
Hold on, wait. I
Yes.
think I went. Oh, wait. Let me make sure that's the right one first. Oh, Jesus.
Okay. All right. This one says written by Mario Man, demo episode 2, 2021 first draft.
Oh, no,
By
that's
me,
the
I'm
wrong
sorry.
one. Jesus Christ.
Okay, sorry. Well, never mind. Never mind. So,
I can send it right now.
Viviax is here. She's cool. She's
So
ready to
is she
ship out.
Guinevere or the Divinity Factory?
She is neither. She is Viviax.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Divinity Factory is like some kind of cosmological entity, isn't it? Something like
All right.
that.
See, I will read to you the final page. So I
You mean with Stephen Morgan?
No,
Or
that's
Mr. Morgan.
that's the thank you page. We shall develop a powerful race designed for space travel and colonization, and Valentina Hazlitt will serve as our experimental prototype. Humanity will no doubt exterminate themselves without me to guide them and protect them. I may even lend a hand to hasten their own demise. Meanwhile, humanity's replacement shall be created right here in the lab where I, their god, was made. All will heed the words of Viverick.
Amen.
There you go. So,
I only read the episode with the guy who turns into a giant bear.
that was a pretty good one. People liked it.
Yes.
That was a pretty good one. Yeah.
I got my money's worth. No
There you
complaints.
go. Yeah. All right, Mario, where are we?
Oh, I sent it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Need the info. There we go. All right.
Huh.
Dr. Evil has been in the news lately. All right.
Oh, really? For
Yeah.
$1 million?
Well, yeah, because the rocket that
Oh,
Bezos
the
went on is
rocket,
shaped
yeah.
It's too late, Mr. Biden. I've
Yeah.
already launched the missile into space.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mario. So tell
Oh,
us
man.
about Untitled.
Untitled. I thought the template saved. Damn it. Anyways, this is the continuation of chapter 2 because I took your
Okay.
suggestion of having like the first panel be a repeat of like the last page of the previous chapter. So, for context, again, one of the girls who was seen carrying drugs was seen leaving the bar, and the main cop Mitsuha chases after her. But a third-party group, in this case, the White Knights, joke intended, ambush her because they think she's just harassing a girl for the sake of harassing a girl.
Okay.
That's how bad the dystopia is. You have to join a gang to get a girl, apparently.
I mean, that is the main reason why you would join a gang.
I don't think I know this story at all. So can you give me the basic rundown of the 2-sentence blurb?
The 2-sentence blurb. Oh, long story short, Mitsuha is a cop in the cyberpunk apocalyptic future trying to stop a drug called Swill. And right now we're in the part where she's trying to apprehend a person who appears to be a dealer of the drug because they want to stop the drug.
So
yeah,
good.
The drug turns them superhuman like the Terminators.
So good.
Oh, this is the one with like the sushi scene that was really confusing.
Yes.
That was the one that I fixed. Yes, you will never let me live that down, will you?
Well, that's how we remember this. We wouldn't remember what story this is otherwise.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell meets Awkward Sushi Date.
There you go.
I'll have to improve that scene and make it canon just for you guys.
Man.
Improve it first.
All right, Mario. Who do you want to read? Who's narrator? And we got some parts. I see. We got Mitsuha.
It's Mitsuha, the girl, and the lead knight. Those are the big three in this chapter.
Yeah. All right. You're casting director. Who's doing what?
Okay, then let's have Danny be the lead knight. We'll have John be the other girl, and then we'll have you, Preston, be Mitsuha.
Okay.
And then Larry can narrate if he feels like it.
All right, Larry.
Who's other girl? Is that her actual name?
For now, yes. She kicks it about like page 4, page 5.
My dog is kind of freaked out because we had one of our pets die. It was,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was grisly. There is a coyote in our neighborhood who eats pets. There you go.
As coyotes do.
As coyotes do.
Yeah, they do that.
Coyote's got a coyote.
Yeah, exactly. And cats are all like, I'm the apex predator of this block. No.
Gotta punch in.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Okay. So we got page 1. Panel 1 is a continuation of the ending of chapter 2. Whatever that was. Panel 1. Exterior cyanide block night. Caption: for the fate of a girl who might know something. Mitsuha is facing the lead knight with 3 squires behind him. The lead knight pulls out and activates a laser mace. The chain jumps with energy inside of it. Ram. The squires are lanky men wearing shoddy cream white armor, plates, and poorly made helmets, inspired by medieval armor made from cheap pot metals you could find at a landfill. 2 of them have wooden planks for weapons. Okay.
Looks like I'm going to have to finish you and the merry men off.
Panel 2. The squires charge towards Mitsuha, now ready to fight. Their armor activates. The helmets have neon faces, allowing them to express a robotic, stoic look in hot pink. One now has gloves with electricity flowing out of them. Panel 3. The girl with orange hair who was knocked out from the last issue on the floor is not moving.
We're knocking out that fine lady with that fine lady.
Wait, what? Oh no!
Wait.
Thought I fixed
What?
I'm pretty sure she just got hit by another lady. Totally makes sense.
Okay. I'm gonna hit a dude with another dude. Yeah. Anyway, it's like.
I thought that was an intentional line. I thought somebody was like beating
We'll make it a headbutt then. Boom.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Panel 4. Mitsuha pulls readies her friender, blowing out the hair of her face. Okay. Gotcha.
With her friender?
with
Yes,
her friend.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
You're the one who wrote this, man.
A couple of days ago, I thought I checked it over twice. I need a
It
third
happened.
pass through, apparently.
There you go.
It
You regret
happens.
crossing the path of the White Knights.
Panel
Or they're more like the
5.
Cream Knights.
Yeah. With wood paneling. Anyway,
The retro
Panel
knights.
5.
These knights.
Yeah. Mitsuha's point of view. Looking down the sights, she sees the squires running at her at medium range. She is aimed at the squire with the electric gloves to her right. Page 2, panel 1. The two squires with planks on their arms continue forward. The gloved squire falls as a bullet pierces his kneecap. Ouch.
I'm hit.
Panel 2. Mitsu dodges a wood plank slammed down on her right. She crosses her arms over and fish hooks the squire with her left, middle, and right fingers.
All right. Well, hold up.
It's like
Oh wait.
Okay.
yeah.
So she dodges a wood plank slammed down to her right. Boom.
Yeah.
She crosses her arm over, and
And
do you know what a
fish
fish hook is?
Yeah, when you put the two fingers in the mouth to pull the face around.
Yes.
It's one of those moves banned in MMA.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless,
Typically,
Well-
you do that from like a choke, like you're behind somebody. Because like doing it from the front, I mean, you don't have like a ton of leverage. Whatever. All right. So I was making sure you were doing that intentionally. Okay.
yeah, I was gonna commit left hand, not left hand, right, left hand. There we go.
And like typically, all right, you need like two. All right, fine. Okay. All right. Panel 3. Go ahead.
All right, panel 3. She pistol whips him in the face with her friender, knocking him out. Panel
Friender
4.
is going crazy.
Yes. Panel 4. She turns and throws him across the floor, exposing her backside and the unconscious girl to the reader. Panel 5. The squire lands right next to the unconscious girl.
Page 3.
3. Panel 1. Mitsuha tries to stand up, only to get hit by the lead knight's mace in her upper back.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, definitely. Laser whip. Or laser mace, sorry. Panel 2. The lead knight approaches her from the background, resetting his laser mace. In the foreground, the remaining squire horribly attempts to wail at her with his lousy 2x4.
I mean, I feel like
That's
you
a
could
great
do some
one.
damage with a 2x4. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that scene from Kick-Ass, like, yeah, take this and that, yeah, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Do you now understand who you are dealing with?
Exactly.
Yes. Panel 3. The girl begins to get up slowly. Yeah.
No, I can't let you get away.
Panel 4. Mitsuha sweep kicks the last squire, knocking him down.
But this girl just got hit with a mace to the back. Plus,
And a
lady
2x4, yeah.
uh,
She's like, invincible, that's fine. Yeah.
I'll go back and add more damage after you give me notes.
all right.
Page 4, panel 1. She's about to get up until the mace lands by her left foot, almost tasing her.
You have hurt that lady for too long now.
Yeah. Panel 2. The lead knight resets his mace, and Mitsuha gets up. Friender still in hand.
What's she to you? It's not like she'll ride your pony after this.
Oh. Panel 3.
That's the line.
I know. It's the reaction. Sorry. Yeah. Panel 3. The late night's frown turns from hot pink to red. He throws his mace. This time, a laser pulse emitting from it. Gotcha.
It is something that a wench like you won't understand. That's a line.
Yep. Panel 4. The mace gets Masua's left cheek, causing her to recoil and stagger, covering her face. Sorry. Crack. Panel 5. The panel shows the knight closes in the panel. I think that's supposed to be closest.
Closest. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. With Misura angled at a distance, as well as the orange-haired girl running away, one arm on her head.
Flee, my fair lady!
There we go. Page 5, panel 1. Mitsuha, pissed and blood dripping down her face, shoots the lead knight's helmet in the top right corner, causing the lights on his helmet to shut off and smoke to come out. His voice box also shuts off, and he drops his mace. He is not dead.
I'll hold her off as long.
Panel 2. Mitsuha pivots and begins to chase after the girl. Panel 3. Exterior abandoned streets night. Mitsuha puts more energy in her dash, closing the gap between the two.
CAF. Fucking stop.
The hell I will.
One bullet left. I hope this works.
Panel 4. Mitsuha, wanting it to end, fires a shot by the girl's head, putting a hole in a crate in front of her. The girl freezes out of fear, yellow eyes wide in terror.
That's racist.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking of that, like actual yellow eyes. Okay.
Now, Preston. Yeah. Panel 5. Mitsuha grabs the girl by her shoulder, sweaty, tired, and her face sore and bloody.
When I say fucking stop, you fucking stop.
I like that line. Yeah.
There's a lot of good lines in this.
Yeah, there is a lot of good lines in this. Page 6, panel 1, close up. The girl has a serious expression on her face. Mitsuha cocks her fender to intimidate the girl. Click.
Don't make me put you in a body bag, because I will.
Do it. They'll kill me if I go back.
Fucking got you. Panel 2. Oh, it's just. I was making a reference to John's story with a knife. Yeah.
I got you, bitch. I got you.
Panel 2. The reveal takes Mitsuha by surprise.
Wait. What? You'll kill... Who will kill you? If it's that night patrol, I can always lock them up.
It's not them.
Panel 3. Mitsuha puts on her serious police officer face.
Show me some ID.
The girl quickly...
She has it in her pocket. He takes it out. Let me put on my serious face.
The girl quickly shuffles in her pockets and pulls out her wallet. Panel 4. She gives Mitsuha her ID with both hands. Mitsuha yanks it out of her hands. Yoink. It says yoink.
It does say yoink.
Yes.
I feel like Scooby-Doo might be coming for copyright infringement.
Zoinks. Page 7, panel 1. Wide panel, Mitsuha's POV, with her thumb covering a bit of the portrait. The girl's ID is displayed in full.
Mitsuzuki Ayanami, 19 years old. You definitely don't live in this part of town, or in this town at all.
Panel 2. Miss Zua lowers the ID and squints her eyes at Misazaki.
That's also racist.
It could be, yeah.
It's not Miyazaki.
Well, at least it say slant her eyes. But
you have a lot of explaining to do.
Well, I can tell you, just not here.
Because...
Panel 3, gunshot goes off in the distance.
Wait, we got one. Jinkies.
That's why.
I'll get you out of here if you tell me everything.
I already said I would.
Okay, page 8. Panel 1, interior Bell.
LG.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Whatever that was.
Polish, it's confusing.
Yeah. Okay. Mitsuha and Mizuzaki both enter a flower shop with Mizuzaki in being visibly confused. A bell rings and they walk in. Ching ching ching. Also racist. No,
We went from Chinatown to Pollock Town.
yeah.
Why are we at a flower shop? And why is it open this late?
Panel 2, as they get to the cashier stand, a Japanese lady in her late 40s comes into frame. Her hair is in a ponytail, she is wearing a brown apron, and she looks a bit irked.
Welcome. I hope you know during these hours we only take special orders and pickups.
Panel 4, Mitsura walks up to the counter, leaving Mizuzaki a few steps behind. Panel 5, she leans in and whispers to the cashier.
I believe I ordered a Super Tears bouquet.
Summer.
Yeah.
Summer Tears, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The cashier's eyes open wide. Yeah.
That's racist.
Yeah. Page 9. Panel 1, the cashier gives a few glances around.
Follow me.
Interior backroom night. The three girls are in the doorway of a gray, dimly lit back room. The cashier slams her hand against the door 3 times. Bam, bam, bam.
Hey, Jaro, someone is here to see you.
Yaroslav.
Jaroslav. Okay. Jaro for short. We'll just call him Jaro. Turns around from his work table, stupefied. The tall Polish man is also wearing a brown apron. However, he also has gardening gloves, a nice mutton chop and beard combo, and is wearing cargo shorts. Okay.
Is it?
Panel 4. Mitsuzara comes forward with Mizuki. Sorry, I keep pronouncing it wrong. And a few steps behind Mitsuzara's. That's Preston's line. Sorry.
I thought you told me you'd stop doing this after everything burned down.
Panel 5. Jaro gets up. Here.
I was.
Ears.
Yeah, ears perked at the sound of her voice. Yeah, okay. Page 10, panel 1, wide shot. Mitsura and Jaro stare at each other, soaking in how things have changed. Yes.
Is it really you, Mitsuha? Misty, the Ember Wraith?
Jaro. I haven't been called that in years.
Panel 2.
You really have given it up, haven't you?
CAF. 2 years.
Then what brings you here? You're not here to arrest me, are you?
Panel 3. Jaro crosses his arms while Mitsura rubs the back of her head.
No, quite the opposite, actually. I was hoping you'd let me use some of the tunnels.
Really? Going to patrol the tunnels? That's going to kill the business.
No, I just need to get her out of here. Off the record.
Panel 4. Jaro looks at Mizuki, who gives a bashful wave. Panel 5. Close shot. Jaro's eyes narrow for a second.
Let me check if there are any roaches in the tunnels. Good thing there's a way to get rid of them.
Roaches. And that's it. Okay. Bum. All right. Well, we had some action. We had a fight scene with some knights who had a mace and some 2x4s, and Mitsuha handily defeats them after getting pummeled. Personally, I was wondering how she was able to get up, but whatever.
I'll go ahead and fix it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got there was Mitsuha was looking after another Asian woman who she's leading her to Yaroslav and the tunnels, and there may be a roach infestation.
No, I was trying to have it. It's gonna be the next 10 pages, but roaches is like his way of saying like there might be some people in the tunnels that shouldn't be here. That's what the roaches says.
Yeah, sounds good.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Did I miss anything? I think that's kind of the plot wise what happened.
Yeah, because the point of this chapter is to show that even though she's like one of the better cops, she's not exactly playing fully by the law. Like she's not afraid to break a few rules herself, which will come back to bite her in the ass later.
Okay. Fair. Well, I thought it was pretty good. All right, what do you think, Larry?
Yeah, it's got an interesting world dynamic going on. We've got some strange thugs. Do you think they're out protecting people, and we don't really know what's going on there? So yeah, I know this has something to do with a drug and whatnot, but we didn't really get a lot of that here. But yeah,
drugs.
Yeah.
All right, John.
I thought the first part I was freaking hilarious. I mean, like if you were gonna make this into a comedy, that first part is just comedy gold.
Yeah.
It
was pretty funny. Yeah.
It was very well done. And the knights were, I mean, they're just really, really eccentric, out there characters, and it was just kind of fun to watch them go at it.
Danny.
So the knight's dialogue was like weirdly cliched.
I thought that was the point.
Which is fine, but then there's like a lady getting hit by another lady, and
that was a flubbed up line that I typed in.
That was really confusing, and like,
hey, if you want to go comedy, keep the lady getting hit with another lady.
I would read that book.
Yeah.
As a reader coming in, like, fine, we had some notes about the weird sushi date, but that was probably a number of versions ago. And I don't really know what happened in issue 1 in the actual, right? Like you do. So as a jumping in point, it was good because there was action and the lady got hit by another lady. It was also kind of confusing, and the dialogue was kind of cliche and didn't meaningfully reestablish the characters very early. Like Mitsuha going from like shooting at the escaped suspect while thinking maybe that was a bad idea, to then treating them like a drug dealer. Although that line was good, was jumping around a lot. So a little bit of work to reestablish the characters and the situation in the first couple of pages will pay dividends later. And then really, really good stuff at the end, aside from, for some reason, the victim of the White Knight. Sorry, I did air quotes there.
Yeah, it's all good.
Showing up for the thing where Mitsuha is like meeting her old flame seemed a bit unnecessary, but you're also 10 pages in the story, so I'm happy to go with that for now.
Yeah, I'll try to get the next 10 pages out reasonably, so hopefully you might be less confused, and if you need me to, I can send you the issue 1 again if you want, Danny.
If I had time to read that, I'd be all over it, man. Shoot me a DM.
All right.
All right. Constructives. Anyone else? I felt like Danny gave his already, but
He
anyone
did.
else got some?
I had so you tonally it kind of shifted,
Woo!
and I don't.
All right. Sorry, I was just checking my eBay orders, and my that one cover of White Widow 4 I just sold to like 7 or 8 copies of it. I'm like, wow. Anyway,
Good stuff.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet because the stack of comics I have that are White Widow 4 is shrinking, and soon I will just be like, that was a great cover that I sold out of. Oh well.
Well, and then you'll have successfully exchanged them for money, which is the
Yes,
point, right?
I know. Yeah. and not just a little bit either. I mean, these are like $30 a pop, and people are like, "I'll take 4." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
And then they're reselling them for $100 each.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. That's their, issue. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I felt like there was a bit of a tonal shift because it started out as goofy action comedy and ended up kind of rom-com with Stranger tagging along, which was kind of weird. And it felt almost like you skipped a scene, like all of a sudden, and this might have been intentional, because we go from the cop character not trusting this person to all of a sudden trusting this person with the whereabouts of her ex-boyfriend in a flower shop that for all intents and purposes should be closed. And if it should be closed and it's not closed, then obviously there's some illegal stuff going down there, and now she's trusting a complete stranger there. So that seems a little off. And if there is something, it feels like that there's a scene missing. So if there is a scene missing and you have a reason for it not to be there, fine, because I'm sure we'll figure that out. But if it's not, then all of a sudden people with guns are coming after them, and the next thing we know, we're in a completely different time and place. And that just really doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing that kind of jumped out at me was and this is going to be a world building thing, and you don't have to answer it. There may not be an answer, but it's something to think about. And that is, what are the rules and tactics that the police department is allowed to use in this universe? Because she was doing some stuff that should not, we'll say should, because you never know these days, that we would not expect a good cop to do, like shooting guns past people's heads, things like that. So I don't know if that's standard practice for these officers, but it seems a little
Reckless.
to me. Yes.
Yeah.
If you've ever fired a firearm, you know that nobody is that accurate unless she's got some kind of cybernetics in her head that's doing aim assist or something like that. So I don't know but in most cases, like if you've ever seen a police shooting, which I can't believe I'm saying if you've ever seen, given that it's 2021, but it usually takes several rounds to stop a suspect. And that's typically because when you're panicked and your adrenaline's flowing, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not very accurate. And you also tend to lose track of how many rounds you fire. Like, most times they say that you can knock off an entire clip and not even realize it until you're out. So all of those things go to the fact that to fire one round in a kneecap or one round in the guy's helmet, shutting off the circuitry without actually hitting him in the head would be very, very, very unlikely unless she either has super aim or some kind of, as I said, it's cyberpunk, so she could very well have cybernetics aim assist, which is all fine and good. That's why I'm just throwing stuff out there. But that still goes back to it is still reckless. She could shoot the guy in the head, and if the electronics aren't wired incorrectly, it could start a fire on the guy's scalp. It could electrocute him. There's any thousands of things that could potentially go wrong, and it would be her fault because she's the one that fired her weapon. So I kind of feel like if the police tactics of your universe are that police officers are allowed to open fire like this, then I feel like that there would be more fear of the police in most citizenry. I think that if the threshold for a police officer to feel threatened is, say, lower than it is, say, in our world in 2021, then police shootings would probably be more common, and people would be much more fearful of the police if they were to draw their firearm. If the police weapon tactics or whatever is much higher than it is, then they probably would have no fear, but then she would basically be losing her job by opening fire. So I say all that just to give you thoughts. The other thing that came off to me during that altercation is that this is the future, and why does she not have a non-lethal weapon? And it's the future. You can make something up and make it as super safe as it's supposed to be. It can be a special taser that doesn't cause heart palpitations or whatever. So there's just another thing to think of, because if they do have high standards for police tactics, and they should have some kind of non-lethal training, skills, weapons, whatever, and she should be employing them, especially in the fight with the White Knights, because unless she is sensing life-threatening danger, when these assholes show up, she could just, take out a baton and fight them off with a baton. Then when, the guy's swinging the mace at her, she can block with her baton, strike back, do something like that. Like those glow sticks from Demolition Man, something like that.
Yeah.
She just whip out one of those glow sticks and she can fight back. 'Cause, that's basically what the dude's mace was. It was basically that. And then similarly, when she's chasing the other girl, it just doesn't seem right that she would just fire right back at her head. And then the other girl who just had a bullet whiz past her, just had her life threatened by a cop, is now like, oh yeah, I'll cooperate with you entirely. And she doesn't seem under duress or stressed out at all after a cop just practically blows her head off. So that kind of didn't really seem to fit. And I think a lot of that just comes down to just figure out what the police tactics are supposed to be in this universe, and then have her act accordingly. And is this the second or the third issue?
This is third.
Okay, so by this point, if you have well-established police tactics, by this issue, we should know what those tactics are, so that if she can then break those tactics in the third issue, and then we can be like, oh shit, she just broke the rules, she's going to be in trouble. And I don't really get any of that sense, because I kind of feel like it was kind of all over the place. It kind of felt like you hadn't thought through that, not that it was just kind of there are no rules. It's just, that's why I just kind of, that was the thing that really jumped out at me, was just not understanding the police tactics. It makes that fight scene kind of everything is going every which way, and that just doesn't seem like very realistic. And it doesn't make me grounded in your universe. It's probably a better way to say realistic, because it's cyberpunk, so of course it's not realistic. But
consistent, yeah.
But yeah, you got to make it grounded in the rules of your universe, whatever those rules are. I mean, you can alter the gravity of your universe as long as everything is bound by those rules. And that would be my thing, is just to try to think about that and stay grounded in the rules of whatever the universe is. And I would go further than just, say, police tactics, but I would also think about like the city, and what are the cities that people what are people's lives like, average ordinary people. What would make the White Knights become the White Knights? What would a normal police interaction be between a civilian and a police officer? Those kind of things, so that when that way when we see these types of interactions, we kind of get that sense, and because then also too, especially if the police have very high levels of tactics where they're not allowed to do certain things, well, when shit hits the fan, and the police
I like it when shit hits the fan
always
better.
the plan.
It's gonna be creamy and sweet. Yep.
like if the police have to go to war, which happens a lot in these types of cyberpunk universes, where all of a sudden, the police go to war and they're shoot first, ask questions later. Then we kind of know, oh shit, stuff is serious. Or is that just the way the world is, because everything is devolved into such chaos, and everybody is basically a potential murderer and a potential cop killer, that the police are allowed to just shoot first? And just things to think about and develop more in your world. And I think the story will make a little bit more sense.
Oh, really, I do appreciate that feedback. That's actually a good one, future-proofing a lot of things.
Sure.
To answer like the very, very first point about the why she trusts her, because what I was thinking at the point was, okay, the bullet was passed through her head. I'll fix that. She's kind of like, do anything, because she doesn't know the gun's empty. She's just following the cop because she threatened,
Yeah, but she's scared for her
When
life.
that happens, the cop gives a speech to remind
Yeah.
the
So
criminal that no one's sure if the gun's empty.
yeah. So I'll put that ad speech. And the other part I was thinking was that after they get them
Fire
in,
5 rounds or 6. So you gotta
And the
ask
thing-
yourself, you feel lucky?
Nope. I have a poor charisma stat. But the point was that after she gets in the tunnels, she'll get her to confess off the record, like just through pure intimidation, like no choking, no nothing like that, just pure intimidation to help her and get the information that she needs. And because of that, it's more so a case of, okay, this is that scene that should have been there. Like, why does she do that? Oh, I got the trust now. Now to put the fear in with the trust.
Well, the only other thing I would say is, why wait? I mean, like,
Yeah,
Well,
is she a dirty cop?
it's-
Is she the
it is-
dirtiest cop? Is no one talking about how dirty she is compared to the other cops? What's the
So
concept?
the idea seemed better going through a dingy sewer, unless they make it where they go through the sewer to get to Jaro, and that would be interesting. I could play around with that.
well, so here's my thing. So this is basically my point. Is you have scene A that's that we need to know and that's interesting, and you have scene B that is interesting and that we need to know. So why is scene B not following scene A? Why do we have this other extraneous scene that does virtually nothing crammed in the middle to fill space? Like every scene needs to advance, should be advancing the story. And like, I don't really see why. This is why I said that there was a scene missing. Basically, you have that scene that I said needed to be where they talk, but for whatever reason, you thought it would be cool if they do it in a sewer. So because you wanted a specific setting, you wrote this scene to get them into the specific setting because you thought that setting would look cool to have this conversation. Whereas the setting is irrelevant, the conversation is what's important.
I mean,
Okay.
setting is kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of
But-
cool, but I think you kind of get what I'm meaning. Is that we're wasting time. You wasted how many pages to get from the shooting to like 5 pages went by, and nothing happened for 5 pages because we want to change locations instead of just bam, we're in the next location. Now what happened? Now, here's a good, like you said, why can't they use the tunnel to get the Joros? Okay, so these guys, she said there's guys with guns coming. We hear the guys with guns coming, so why don't they run away and they jump into the sewer to hide? And then you have your sewer conversation.
Mm.
You know? Do a
Yeah.
Terminator where you're dumping exposition while they're being chased by the bad guy who's trying to kill them.
Mhm.
You know, it's like Terminator was one of the best ways of delivering mountains of exposition in a way that you didn't feel like you were getting mountains of exposition because it's in the middle of this high tense chase scene with somebody that's trying to actually kill you.
Mhm. Yes.
I just want to add that Michael Biehn now owns a copy of White Lily.
What? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Congrats.
Yeah. I mean, look, I go to these shows and they have celebrity guests there, and celebrity guests are just sitting around bored. And I'm like, "You want comics?" And they're like, "Sure." Like, so, yeah.
Oh, so you just gave it to him. You didn't like search it out and buy it. You just like
No,
here you want.
he was just there. But I do that.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, of course. And it was. Was there any other feedback here?
No, I'm pretty much. I mean, unless Mario had more that he wanted to add, I pretty much said everything I was.
How about you, Larry? What do you think?
I don't really think I have anything to add. No.
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you the story. This will be how we close.
Okay.
So I was talking to Michael Biehn. I was like, all right, I got 2 stories. Oh yeah, for you want comics? Sure, I make them. All right, cool. I'm gonna go back and get them. I'm like, I got 2 stories. I got The Deadliest Lady Firefighter Who Ever Lived or Magical Bad Girl. Which one you want? He's like, gotta have the bad girl. I'm like, all right, fine. So I went and grabbed it, and his wife was there by the time I came back, and he was like, honey, come here. He's like, this guy, he says, do I want some other story or Magical Bad Girl? And I'm like, you know what I said? And she started laughing. My wife's a bad girl.
Oh my god.
Great.
So yeah, but Michael Bihn's wife was reading Guinevere as he was signing autographs. So there you go.
Nice.
Wait, you said you gave him White Lily.
Then I remembered. Well, I actually did throw in both. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, it's Michael Biehn. Here, you can have both.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Kyle Reese, why not? All right. So
Sure.
there we go. Well, we had some scripts. Cool. Hopefully next week we'll have even more.
I'll have the second half of issue 2. That's already written and done.
Okay.
So I'm glad you guys liked where issue 2 is headed. I think you're gonna like the second half of it.
There we go. Yes, Mark.
So I'll rework all of this stuff then.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, it's writing is rewriting, man.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody. All right, I'll see everyone next week.
All right.
Take care.
Hope
Good
to
night.
see you then.
All right. See you next week.